Hi, my name is Ellis Andrews, and today I will be walking you through a blackjack game simulator that I wrote in PurePython. I'll be demoing two different game modes. The first game mode is an interactive CLI game in which the user plays against an automated dealer. This mode realistically simulates the experience of playing at a real blackjack table at a casino and is good for practicing. The second game mode is a simulator that allows the user to run a predetermined strategy against the house an arbitrary number of times and see the results. This is useful for doing statistical analysis on different gameplay strategies and seeing how small tweaks can affect your long-run outcomes. Hi, and welcome to part one of my Blackjack Simulator demo, in which I will be demonstrating the interactive game mode. So here I am with a terminal window open and my project directory up in my virtual environment, so let's just get started. So to run this game mode, we'll run python play.py, and that will launch the game. You're prompted to enter some game setup information, such as a player name, an initial bankroll amount, an amount to wager on each hand, which you can change in-game. I'll start that at just 10% of our bankroll, and the number of decks to play with all shuffled together we'll say is 3. This is the main game screen with 3 sections. The table section will show the cards that are dealt. The dealer's hand will be displayed here, and my hand will be displayed down here. The activity section is a log of messages that describe what's happening during the game and will grow as we continue to play. And then finally at the bottom is the action section, in which the user will be prompted to take an action. Right now, we're between turns, so you're asked if you'd like to auto-wager, change your wager, or cash out, which we do not at this time, so let's move on to the first turn. So now we can see that the first turn has been dealt. The dealer, you can only see one of their 2 dealt cards, just like at a real casino. You can see both of your dealt cards down here. I have a 2 and a 6, which total to 8. And you can see a few messages have been logged in the activity section. So now we're prompted with our first hand, what would we like to do? We can either hit, stand, or double. Because I have 8, I will hit that, which will give me an additional card, which brings my total to 17. I would like to stand now, and then the dealer will play their turn. So the dealer had a 5 buried. They're playing an automated strategy that reflects how dealers play in real casinos. So given that they had 13, they hit. They got a 10, which brought them to 23, which means they busted. Because my 17 beats their bust, I profit, and you can see my bankroll has gone up by $100, given that payout is 1-to-1. Let's play a few more hands. I will not change my auto wager or cash out. 13 against a 4, I will stand. Dealer plays. That was a little bit unlucky for me, and so I lost that hand 18-13. Let's keep going, except this time I will change my auto wager to $200 because I'm feeling risky. We can now see that that wager was placed on my hand. Dealer showing a 2, I'm showing 11. That is a hand that you should always double. So I will double, meaning I will get 1 additional card, and I will double the wager on my hand, and then the dealer will play their turn. So we should see that my hand goes up to $400, and I get 1 additional card before the dealer starts playing. Unfortunately, that was not a 10, as I hoped. But luckily for us, the dealer busted, so I still won that hand. So that's a big payout for me, and I will say, okay, I'm done gambling after that large payout, so I will enter $0 to cash out. Here we are at the end. You get some simple analytics printed out for you. You can see the breakdown of hand outcomes here. 3 hands played, 2 wins and a loss. There were no blackjacks for either player. There are no insurance bets placed, which only comes into play if the dealer is showing an ace, and some simple information about how my bankroll changed over time, such as the max, the min it ever achieved, and the average it was throughout the game. That's probably better visualized in these simple charts that are put out by Matplotlib, in which the bankroll is plotted over time against turn number. So I started out with 1,000. I won the first hand, I lost the second hand, and then that last hand was that hand that I doubled and won, which is why you see the large increase there. This obviously becomes more interesting as you play more hands, but this is just a demo. And then finally, the hand outcomes are displayed in a pie chart down here. There were only wins and losses, but for example, if I had pushed, meaning the dealer and I tied, that would also be a slice of this pie chart. but just a simple way to see, again, how your game played out. That's really all I have for the interactive mode. It's worth noting that this mode supports any actions that you could take in a real casino: doubling, splitting, insurance, etc. And we didn't cover all of those today, but that's all the time we have, and I thank you so much for watching. Okay, I will now be demoing the second game mode of my Blackjack game, in which the user can simulate running many games of a predetermined Blackjack strategy against the house. This is especially useful for doing statistical analysis on a particular Blackjack strategy and just to see how it performs against the house. So to do this, we're going to run Python simulate.py, and we're going to run it with the help flag to start out with, just so we can see the different configuration options. So let's toggle some of these options. We'll run simulate.py, and for our actual simulation, we'll run it with a wager amount of $10. This is the amount that will be placed on each new hand. We'll run it with a bankroll of $10,000 so that we don't run out of money. We'll run it at a concurrency of 8. Games are multi-processed for performance, so my MacBook has 8 cores, so that seems like a logical choice. We'll run it with 3 decks per game. We'll run a total of 1,000 games of 100 turns each. So that should result in approximately 100,000 hands being played. In reality, hands will be slightly greater than turns due to the fact that you can split a hand in a given turn. And we'll run it with the default strategy, which you don't need to specify, but I will anyway. If you're interested in learning how I've set up these static strategies, you can visit the GitHub README for the project, which outlines it in detail. But effectively, the default strategy is the accepted Blackjack strategy in which the player has maximized their odds against the dealer. So it's pretty close to 50% win probability. It's obviously slightly less due to the fact that the house always has an edge baked in. So let's run this simulation. You can see a progress bar that we're running these simulations in parallel. This is our progress out of the 1,000 games that we specified to simulate, and we're done. So at the end of our simulation, we get some analytics printed out for us. We'll start on the left here. The total hands is just over 100,000, as I said before. Due to the fact that you can split, we ended up with approximately 2,500 additional hands than turns. And you can see the breakdown of hand outcomes here. We won, 43.7% of them, lost 48%, and pushed 8%. Insurance is a sucker bet in Blackjack, so the default strategy does not buy insurance at any point, so we have no insurance wins. This is really where kind of the money is in Blackjack. If you're getting more Blackjacks than the dealer is, you're probably making money. And you can see we won slightly more Blackjacks than the dealer in this simulation at 51% to 48%. So that's favorable for the user, and that's really how you can tell if you're doing well. Insurance, again, we did not place any bets as that's not a part of the optimal strategy. And here's some simple statistics about the average winnings and average bankroll of all of these simulated games. That is probably better visualized here with some simple charts that are output by matplotlib. So this is a histogram of all the final bankrolls that occurred from our simulation. So we ran 1,000 games, and they all started at $10,000, and we're wagering $10 a hand and played 100 turns. And at the end, this is the distribution of those bankrolls. So you can see it's pretty centered around 10,000. So it's a pretty even game in that, some of them are winning, some of them are losing money, but they're ultimately, the majority are right around 10,000. And then you can see the distribution of hand outcomes here with wins, losses, and ties. So yeah, that's basically what I've got for my simulator. You can use this to try out all kinds of different Blackjack strategies and see how they perform. This could probably be improved by running a greater number of hands and games just to see how this works out in the long run, but I think 100,000 was reasonable for this video. Definitely let me know if you have any comments or questions, and thank you so much for watching.